What's up guys, Alex here, welcome back to another Dokkan Battle video, and today I have something a little different for you guys. And I used to do these videos back in the day, and I kind of just stopped doing them for no particular reason. But basically the point of these videos is to showcase a set of particular leader skills that are still present in the game, and from time to time they do add leader skills like this, but they just aren't very relevant because of the way that the events are. But as you're about to see in this particular video, it does work out pretty damn well because of the setup that I am running. And of course I will be going in depth as to how these leader skills work and such. But the point is, these are a particular set of leader skills that are present in the game, but you just don't see as commonly because they just aren't as viable for one. But it does make the events a lot more challenging, but it is what it is. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Now, to go over, just the leader skills in general. So right now, I am running a double Android 13 lead, and I should point out before I actually get into it, there are going to be several cuts in the video, just because when I was recording this, I was in a process of doing something else at the time, so there were multiple situations where I wouldn't actually make a move. So there's going to be a few cuts here and there where it goes from me having no key with one character to having multiple key with another. So if you do see multiple cuts, that's the reason why. And I would recording, the whole thing again, but because it's a bit of a challenging thing, not gonna lie, and if certain things don't go in your way, then obviously it's just gonna end up getting you killed. So this was actually my very first attempt, and it went extremely well. But regardless, back to what I was saying with the leader skills, we are running a double Android 13 lead, and if I'm not mistaken, right now he isn't even awakened. So with his awakened leader skill, he would be even better. But if I hop onto the Dokkan wiki real quick, just to have a, I know what his leader skill does when it's unawakened, but when it's awakened, obviously it is going to be a bit better. But right now, with his unawakened leader skill, he wait, is he awakened? I think the friend one, oh no, they are both awakened. He actually has a very similar art for because I was looking at the header, so that's what you can see right there, just on his actual card right now. And literally, his awakened one is just him facing the way he is now. But I got kind of confused. Okay, so never mind, he is awakened. Like I thought he was, but for some reason I got kind of confused. Regardless, he reduces the attack of tech-type enemies by 43%. It doesn't have to be heroes, it doesn't have to be villains. It's just tech types in general. And right now you're probably thinking, well, this leader skill isn't going to be very good against this particular stage, obviously because I do have... well, I'm not taking on a tech type enemy, but of course this is the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta event. So once we move on to those tech type stages, that is where the leader skill is going to be able to be at its best. And it goes back to what I was saying before about these leader skills not necessarily being that viable, because there are multiple stages where it's not just one type. And of course on a stage in particular, we take on STR Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and then we take on Agility Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku. However, there is a leader skill which I am hoping to do or show off in the coming days that kind of gets rid of the whole just one type thing with these particular leader skills. But for this video, I do want to show off the tech Android 13, and what he does, like I said, is he reduces the attack of tech type enemies by 43%. So of course when you have two leads that do this, that is an 80% attack reduction. And the Android 13 card itself isn't necessarily the greatest thing ever. He is a very good orb changer because he changes tech type orbs into rainbow orbs. So of course that is going to allow you to super attack with your units if they don't have too many great links with each other. Some of the units here do have Fear and Faith. Of course you have the Cooler as well, that provides 2 key if I'm not mistaken. So again, it's a bit of an issue when it comes to super attacking with this particular team, just because Android 13 doesn't provide any key. His entire leader skill just reduces the attack of tech type enemies by that particular percentage. So it's a matter of working with the units around you, just doing as much damage as you can. And then of course once you move on to the tech type stages, it's going to be smooth sailing because you're legit going to take next to no damage, 99% of the time. Of course Buhan is here, but if you compare Buhan to how good he was before, I would honestly just say he's just like any other regular unit. There isn't nothing special about him these days. And I will most likely title this video, I haven't really thought about the title, but I was thinking about titling, my initial thought for titling the video was beating Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta without any of the new godlies, but that isn't necessarily that much of a challenge in my eyes, because you can still use someone you could probably still use someone like Buhan and just some of the older teams and still take out this event. So I'll have to think about that, but the point is, this team is probably something pardon me, this is probably something that you would never use, but with good reason. It's just not efficient. It's not very good for taking on an event like this, because you're going to run through your items very fast, and of course if you don't get lucky in certain scenarios, you aren't going to be capable of getting to that last stage. However, if you have a lot of good units together that are capable of linking up and consistently super attacking, obviously tanking as well, like Android 18, she is a great orb changer. Android 13 is another great orb changer. So you have several good orb changers on here that are capable of providing a decent amount of key for your harder hitting units. But the issue is, they aren't capable of tanking, so if you take too much damage, there is a good chance that you're going to die there, especially on a stage where you have to take onto enemies like you are seeing right now. Of course, you do have Janemba, that is capable of guarding against all types, and what that basically means is that it doesn't matter if he has a type disadvantage, neutral typing, he is going to be able to tank those hits as normal, not normally, but like, if he is capable of tanking those hits as if he has a type advantage. So another great unit on this team is, there's Amasu. He heals up 7% of your health when you super attack. Of course, you have Buhan with the debuffing from his super attack. He has the Go Kamehameha attack that has the potential to greatly lower attack, which is very useful against these particular first few stages. But obviously, like I said, once you move on to the later stages, that is where you're really going to start to see the massive impact that the leader skill has. And hopefully we will be able to get that to that point relatively soon. And I suppose the good thing about this is that you can pull off the Dokkan mode, and the good thing about pulling off the Dokkan mode is that you can recover a decent amount of your health after it goes off, and you can do a lot more damage. Again, on this particular stage, getting a Dokkan mode is extremely useful because you can target both enemies. Granted, right now, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is dead, but the point still stands. If I managed to pull off the Dokkan mode a bit sooner, then of course I would have been able to attack both at the same time, but the point still stands. The Dokkan mode allows you to deal a bit more damage in comparison to his normal damage output, and Janemba isn't even a unit that necessarily hits that hard. Realistically, in this situation, pulling off a Dokkan mode with Buhan would have been better, just because he has a bit more damage potential as he is a nuker. Does this actually take him out? It doesn't take him out. As you saw there, 320,000 damage. Managed to get an additional super attack to go off, and it was, it kind of goes back to what I was saying before about being lucky with some of the abilities, but that's not going to happen like all the time. It definitely comes down to a bit of luck, which is why, like I said, I kind of struggle to replicate this result consistently. You are capable of doing it, especially in certain situations, but you do kind of need a bit of a specific setup, a bit of the time. But again, like I was saying, it's something that does come down to chance, and the leader skill is still very good, but it's not like necessarily the greatest thing in the game. But it's definitely interesting because it doesn't rely entirely on the key boost, the stat increases. It relies on something a bit different. Okay, so now moving on to the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta stage, and from this point forward it is pretty straightforward. You're going to see multiple instances where the units get super attacked and they legit take like double-digit damage. It's just so easy once you move on to these particular stages. The downside is that, are you going to be able to super attack consistently, things like that, because if you don't get to super attack consistently, you're obviously going to be spending a considerably more time on these particular stages, just because you aren't doing that much damage. But obviously you can see a drastic difference in the amount of damage that we are taking in comparison to the stages prior to this. And I definitely want to try this against some of the other Dokkan events, but it's like, am I going to use this particular team? Am I going to use another team? Because I really want to try this with STR, because you have some great options like the Rage Trunks and such, because he is an absolutely incredible tank, very similar to the Zamasu. But the thing about that particular Trunks is that he gets stronger and he's better at tanking with the less health you have, which is obviously perfect for something like this. But yeah, it's going to come down to, the events that are currently out, of course. In this particular situation, I'll just take on Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, pardon me, just because it's a stage that I have a type advantage on, and of course this particular lead skill applies to this. But you can definitely tell that when they made certain units, they had something in mind to make these particular, leader skills viable, but it just never happened because of the way that they, built the game. But, it is what it is. There is no changing the way that the game is now, of course. But, yeah, there isn't too much that we can say about that. But here we go. We have Buhan, who, like I said earlier, is potentially the hardest hitting unit on this team. Of course, it is entirely dependent on the amount of orbs that you pick up, and this is exactly what I was referring to earlier. And I was saying that I was doing something in between, so I tried to cut it as best as I could. Here we go, managed to get a super attack in. And I do believe that on the last stage of the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta event, which of course, or let's just say last stage of the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta event, yeah, that's where I was going with it. We do manage to get another Dokkan mode, which obviously allows us to do way more damage. But of course, because we aren't taking on an opponent or a stage of multiple bosses, we aren't going to get that AoE attack to, be that important. But right there, you saw Android 13 take a super attack for like 5,000 damage, and whilst that may seem like a decent amount of damage, especially on this particular team, you legit recover that with someone like Zamasu. You recover that with Buhan, even if you don't super attack. So it really isn't that much of a problem at all. But like I was saying earlier, Android 13, 18, great orb changes for this particular team. You have decent units with the, what do you call it? You have decent units with the Fear and Faith link, which obviously is a good key link for this particular team. But you could go down a different road. If you want to minimize the amount of damage that you take on some of the earlier stages where the leader skill isn't very good, you could run someone like Turles, who gives key, give an attack increase, and can stun. Maybe, yeah, that's a good setup to go with. Maybe you just want to implement a few stunners into your team so you minimize the amount of damage that you take, whilst getting the support from a unit like the Turles. Situations like that, or units like that, are definitely viable. But we are pretty much coming to the conclusion of this video, somewhat close anyway. And is he gonna die here? No, but Zamasu's gonna tank this particular attack for like not that much damage at all. And I'm actually gonna turn my PS4 off just because I realized that my mic is picking up a lot of background noise. Okay, here we go. Good here. And now we have the Buhan. I mean, in a situation like this, you're most likely just gonna take this particular stage out with normal attacks. And we're moving? Are we going? Yeah, there we go. Android 18 changes. I actually need to see what she does. I'm pretty certain that she's an orb changer, but I'm not too certain what orb she changes. I know, of course, you have Tech Android 13. That changes the Tech orbs into rainbow orbs. But I think Android 18 changes... Does she not have Shattering the Limit? Oh, she has Fierce Battle by the looks of it. Okay, that's interesting. I think she changes rainbow orbs into intelligence orbs. Let me have a quick look. Android 18. And there we go, Zamasu again. A great tank and a great hard hitter. Okay, not the tech one. Clever Tactics. Nope. Is it this one? Nope. Why can I not find? Does she have shocking speed? Does she have shocking speed? She does not have that shocking speed link. How am I struggling so much to find this? There we go. Android Assault. And she changes rainbow orbs into intelligence orbs. So her partnership with Android 13 is very good, but you're not likely to just keep those two in a rotation because you obviously want the tanks and the hard hitters to be in rotation like 99% of the time. But here we go. We're making very slow progress here again. Depending on how many times you're capable of super attacking, it's either going to be a fast process or a very slow one. But again, from super attacks, you're going to take like 5k damage max. With someone like Janembo, we may even take even less. Because of course he does get a defensive increase, he has the guarding. But guarding isn't obviously that effective here because he is already there with a type advantage. But trying to do as much damage as we can here. I would have made this live recording, but like I said, I was in the process of doing something, but I wanted to, at the very least, attempt this and know that I was capable of doing this before I obviously put it into an actual video. Because I did do it in the past against some of the easier events like, what do you call it? Against some of the easier events like the Tech Beerus. That event is extremely easy. But to be capable of doing this against someone like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, to me, that's very impressive. Granted, we do have some new units like Zamasu, but that's pretty much it. Apart from Zamasu, we don't have like that many new units. Because you have Buhan as well, who's a great option here. But yeah, if I wondering why I miss all of those, well, that's what happens when you're in the middle of doing something else. But we're still putting in a decent amount of work here. It's got that additional super attack, and that's a double debuff right there. So we're going to be taking even less damage. It's going to take like double digits. Okay, not double digits. A bit of an exaggeration. But still, 3,000 damage. That's not much at all. But I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. I think I'm just going to leave it there and allow you guys just to see how it plays out. Obviously, I wouldn't be uploading this video if I didn't actually beat the event, but it is what it is. And one thing I actually forgot to mention is how certain units on this team, I believe it's Android 13 and Buhan, they share a healing link. So you can make up for the fact that you take a bit of damage with that particular link. But again, having this leader skill is not, it's not, like I said, it's not viable at all. I don't want to say that it's not viable, because it is a viable leader skill, because I'm obviously beating the event right now. But it's not a leader skill that you're going to go to all the time, just because there are way faster ways of taking out Dokkan events more consistently, and there are just, you know, overall better setups. But yeah, it is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed the rest of the gameplay. There is about another 4-ish minutes left in it, but I guess you can assume that I already took out the event. If you want to skip to the end of the video, you can go ahead and do so. But if you made it to this point, I appreciate you guys, and hope you guys have been enjoying this mix-up in videos, I suppose. It's been a while since I made something like this, and I want to potentially make a few videos like this in the coming days. But hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next one.